morning. My name is Nana Gyamfi, Nanagyamfi. I am an attorney, I am a director of human rights advocacy, and I represent Black Lives Matter Los Angeles. We are calling today on City Attorney Mike Feuer to get on the righteous side of history and drop the charges against Black Lives Matter members, especially the BLMLA 7, who are currently facing trial, set to begin on Monday for their peaceful, nonviolent demonstration, which occurred in November of 2014. The city of Los Angeles likes to project itself as a progressive city with a concern for social justice and in particular racial justice. Mayor Eric Garcetti has called himself a friend to the Black community, often citing his work with the Peace Corps in Africa, as well as his walking with President Obama during his campaign. City Attorney Mike Feuer pegs himself as a progressive who would work with the Black community to address the concerns of Black Angelenos. LAPD Chief Charlie Beck is called locally and nationally a great reformer of police and police conduct here in Los Angeles. The movement for Black Lives, which includes the Black Lives Matter movement, is but a continuation of the civil rights movement legacy that Mayor Garcetti, City Attorney Feuer, and Chief Charlie Beck claim to honor. They say, we honor King, and we honor Dr. King for his work. They say, we honor Mama Parks, and they honor Mama Parks for her work. They say, we honor the freedom riders who were killed, who were beaten, who were scorned for standing up for civil rights, and especially for the civil and human rights of Black people. But if the city leaders, including Mayor Garcetti, including Chief Beck, and including City Attorney Mike Feuer, really honored Dr. King, if they really honored Mama Parks, if they really honored Fannie Lou Hamer and the Freedom Riders, they would do the things that you do when you believe in justice, especially when we talk about peaceful, nonviolent demonstration. Not even the prosecutors of the segregationist South put peaceful, nonviolent demonstrators on trial. Not even the prosecutors of Montgomery, Alabama put Mama Rosa Parks on trial. And yet here we have a city attorney who claims to be a progressive doing what the rabid white supremacists did not do during the time of the civil rights movement of the 60s and of the 70s. Los Angeles cannot claim to honor Dr. King, cannot claim to honor the legacy of the civil rights movement and put Jazz Wade on trial. Los Angeles cannot say they honor Mama Parks and that they honor Fannie Lou Hamer and put Osceola Sankara on trial. And so we want to make sure to point out that no other city in the United States is going after peaceful, non-violent movement members as Los Angeles is. We look at Oakland, where they have stopped bridges, where Black women have stood in the financial district blocking streets and baring their breasts, where people have blocked trains on the BART system. We look at DC, where freeways were stopped, where bridges were stopped. We look at New York City, where some of the most famous bridges in the world were brought to a halt based on peaceful, nonviolent protests, and we find that those protesters have not been brought to trial. But here in Los Angeles, somehow, the progressive city with the progressive city attorney is dealing with Black protesters, nonviolent and peaceful though they are, with an iron fist. Shutting down streets, shutting down freeways is a part of the legacy of the civil rights movement. When we watch Selma, when we look at the documentaries, where are people? The people who are demonstrating peacefully are in the street. The people who are demonstrating peacefully are on the bridges. This is where people are. This was not a sidewalk movement. This was not a movement where people were up in the air, avoiding any contact with people on the ground. This was a movement where streets were filled and cars were stopped. This was a movement where bridges were stopped. This was a movement where freeways were stopped. And it is ridiculous for this city, for this mayor, for this police chief, and in particular for this city attorney, Mark Fuhr, to pursue charges and take people to trial for things and for activities that King, Parks, Hamer, and so many others engaged in and which they claim they honor. A progressive city does not stand for this, and we're calling on Angelenos to stand up and to rebuke these prosecutions, to let the city attorney Mike Fuhr know, to let the mayor Eric Garcetti know, to let Chief Beck know that this will not stand, that Angelenos are for social justice and will not stand for South Africa apartheid era tactics being used against peaceful, nonviolent protesters.